Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today in this video we're going to be continuing JavaScript for Beginner series. And yep, okay, I'm here after a long time, and you might be wondering that why I was not uploading videos on YouTube. So it is because I had mouth ulcer. You may also know it as canker sores, and those are really pain in the ass. I mean, it's not pain in the ass, but pain in the mouth. So I couldn't speak, I wasn't able to eat enough, and I actually had a terrible experience. And yep, many of you may have that experience, or you had that experience before, and you know how terrifying it is. So you must understand that why I didn't upload videos. So I was unable to speak, but from today, as I promised you earlier in the video that I did for the coding interview, I said that I'll be consistent, and yes, I will be consistent. I'll upload videos daily, on a daily basis, even though I have a lot of work to do in real life. I have to go to, work and all that stuff, and also have to be consistent with YouTube. It's not a really easy task to be with, so yeah. So, okay, let's keep the side talk apart, and we're gonna go move on to the content. So, the first thing that I'm gonna be teaching you today is this is going to be the last video of JavaScript for Beginner series. And you might be wondering that, am I going to upload videos? Yes, I'm going to be uploading videos on JavaScript, and now the next tutorial that is coming is going to be JavaScript for intermediate. So in that, I'll teach you all the intermediate stuff, and now we'll be building a website at the end of this video. So the first thing that we're going to do is open up our file manager, or maybe we can go for the terminal. I'll go for ls, or maybe a new terminal. So okay, so we can go for cd document slash, I have the folder of tutorials, tutorial ls. We have JavaScript here, so I'll go for JavaScript, and we had chapter 6, right? So now we're simply going to go and create a folder called chapter 7. Chapter 7 and cd chapter 7. Okay, I don't need that. Just escape that and do whatever it tells. So I'll open code in here. Successfully opened. Yeah. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a index.html file. And in this, we're going to go for index.js. So in today's video, we're going to be working mostly with the, you guessed it right, it's forms. So now I've not taught you how to handle forms and handle the submit functions in the forms. But today in this video, I'm going to be making you really clear about that. And you don't need to worry if you don't know form. I'm going to be teaching you that as well. So first thing first, I'll rename this to chapter 7, and yep. Now in the chapter 7, I need to generate a form. So to generate a form, what do is we can go for a heading 1 chapter 7, and then we can go for a form container, or maybe we can use a div over here. So in this div, we can have a form. So form. Now this action, what it means, it's like it's taking some kind of backend from a file, but we're not using any kind of backend, so we'll just leave it for now. And then in this form, we have the div dot, and I'll create a container for our input container. And this in this input container, we're going to have a name, and this is going to have the name and ID. So now I'll have a label as well, and this is going to have a name. So why is this for is being used in this label? So this for is basically like telling that I am associated with this input. So if I remove this, now this label is not being associated with any kinds of input. But now if I keep a for here, and I'll say name, that means it says that it is associated with this ID of name. So whenever you're using for in a HTML file, or when you're working with JavaScript, you always need to add in the ID to the input. Okay, so that means it says that I'm somehow connected to this input, and the way is for the ID. I'm connected by the ID name, so it's both in the name. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm simply writing here the username. Now I need to clone this again, so I'll just go for Control C, and then I'll start pasting. So we need we're gonna create a login registration. Okay, we're gonna go for a registration form. So input okay, this is going to be input container, and this now in this case we're not going to go for the username. We instead going to go for the email, and here it's going to be email, and name instead of name we can go for. And what about this name? So you understand what I'm talking about in the video later while we're working with JavaScript. This name is really essential. Okay, this name is really essential. You just need to remember that. Okay. And this username, it's not going to be username, it's password. And then instead of text, password. And the same that password. Okay, I could have done that like really easily using the multi whatever the fuck you call it. Sorry. So name, we can go for password basket. Now form input container, and it needs to have a button, and button should have a type of submit. Whenever you're listen to me, okay, whenever you're using any kind of form related job where having a button that is actually submitting the form, you need to have the type of submit. So you might also not have the type of submit, but this submit adds a lot of functionalities to your submission. Okay, so what are the functionalities? I'm going to be teaching you later in this video. That's not later, it's coming, it's right on its way, but not yet. Okay, so you need to type in the submit, because whenever you click on this button, this form you see right here, the data of the form, it's going to be submitted. But submitted to what? We have not written the JavaScript yet. We're not writing the logic. So it's, for the time being, just simply submitting it to a blank page. So then we can go for register, and our heading one, it's going to be, okay, chapter 7. We can go for a heading 2, and we can go for registration. Now I need to run the live server, so I'll go live. Okay, you can see that registration is here. Now this is looking a little bit ugly, so I'll just go for some style. We can go for this, and go for a display of flex. You don't need to worry about this styling. I'm just adding the styling so that it looks good. I need to go for display flex, justify content center. Okay, instead of clear, go with justify content center. Justify content center. Align. I think I should not included that. Align items center, and height of 100 view height. And then the thing that I need essentially is flex direction column. And you can see that, okay, it's I think it's too much, so I'll simply go for a 50 if you will. So it's right in the middle. And in the input container, what I need is that I can import CSS. Okay, I'll import CSS still. Style.css, it should look a bit cleaner. So I'll go for instead of going for the input container, we can simply create, okay, here. So we can go, okay, we need to go for the input container, and I'm going to do basically what I need to do. You don't need to worry about, if you don't know CSS, just please don't worry what I'm doing. I'm not going to be able to explain you all of it, but I'm just simply, going to summarize what I've done. So let's say justify content center, and then I'll go for center, and then flex direction column. Just doing the same thing here over and over. So I'll add this here, so it works. Link, CSS, and okay. Now this looks like a registration form. Okay, this might not look like a registration form, but yeah, it basically, looks like something good. We can add some styling to the form as well. Form, and then go for display flags, justify, center. Whoa. And yep, that is still the same problem here. And then answer centers, flex direction column. Up, good. Now, I shouldn't have added that here in this flex direction column and all that shit. So we're just gonna remove that. Just back on it. This good. Now, but this registration should also be there, right? So, we can simply go for flex direction column. Okay, this looks perfect. Now, the first thing that we're gonna do is now validate the registration form. How do you validate that? How do you check if that is correct or not? So the first thing that we're gonna go is grabbing this form container right here. So I'll go for ID of form, ID, or maybe we can go for a class name. Or instead of that, we can go for a query selector. So I'll say const form is equals to document dot query selector. Now selecting the first element, which is basically a form. Now if I console.log this form, and if I inspect here in the console, okay, wait, this JavaScript is not being inserted inside of our body. That is the main thing. Script, it's actually scripts, not script.js, it's index.js. And now it's a form element you see right over here. We've successfully targeted it using the form. Now inside of that we have bunch of elements. So inside of form we have the input, and it has the ID of name, type, and type of text, name, and it's having all of their respective properties. And then we are having all of these methods we can call last element child, local length, and it has bunch of method. Now the one that we're going to focus is on a method called submission. Now we can use form.onSubmit right over here, but what are we going to do is we're going to take the add event listener approach. So let's take an example that you go into a web page and then you type in your username and you type in your email, gmail.com, maybe you can do that, and I'll insert some kind of password, and then you click on the register button. Now you're actually targeting a event. You're actually targeting a click event and also a submission event. So how do I handle that submission event inside of JavaScript? So to handle that, we can simply use a event listener inside of the form, just like the artificial intelligence suggested. So I'll just simply go for that. It's going for a submit here. So now what do I do is I'll console.log the submitted text here. Now I'll save this once, and then if I register, it's simply reloading the page. So why is this happening? So by default, the behavior of this registration pattern, registration form, is that whenever the file is being submitted, this form is being submitted, we're hitting the registration button, and then this is going to go ahead and communicate with a different server. Now, while that communication happens, this website gets reloaded with a parameter just like this. You see right over here, before we didn't have this kind of parameter by default when we run that, okay? So now if I type that and I'll type in some kind of random Gmail, and then I type in some kind of password. Now, if I register, now it's being reloaded, and all of that items we can see in the parameters. So we don't want to refresh that. So how do we prevent that from happening? To prevent that from happening, we're taking the event, and then this event has a function, or it's a function, okay? e.prevent default. It's a function that is going to go and prevent the default behavior of this, and whenever we type in register, it's null. reloading. So I'll go for .com, gmail.com, and I'll go in for some kind of basic password. If I click on register, now you can see that it says submitted. So that is how we can prevent the default behavior of a form. Now, after we've successfully done that, how do we target the values of this input? So that is basically simple, really simple. Okay, so what can we do is I should go for a console. So we can go for a name here. So we can go for const. We can go const username is equals to, and then now we can go for form dot name dot value. So what am I doing? You might be confused, but you don't need to be confused, okay? So the basic thing I'm doing is this form has a method of name. So this name you see right over here, right? So we can go for name dot, you see right here, name. So this name, now this is being accessed. Now I don't have to write name. I don't only have to write name, okay? We cannot only write name and just add value. We need to type the associated name. So the name that I had is name dot value. So how is this working? So first it's taking in the name inside of the input, and then it's taking the thing here. It's taking the string, which is obviously name, and then it's taking in the value that it is provided. So we can do the exact same over here. Or wait. Yeah. But instead of going for this name, we can go for the username. Username, and this name. Username, and I need to change this as well. What the heck I was just saying. So this is not valid. This is form dot username dot value. Now if I basically console log the username, see, and if I hit on register, it's simply giving me the value. So it's taking in the form and whatever the name, so the name that I've associated to this name attribute inside of this index.html file, now that is coming and corresponding with the value of the username, and then simply whatever the stuff that we have inside of the username input, the value of that input. So we get that. Now how do we access password? So you just do that on your own, okay? So I'm waiting for artificial intelligence to do that, but it's not doing so. I'll do it on my own. So email is equals to form dot it's not username, it's email dot value, and then const password is equals to form dot password dot value. Now we can console log all of these out, but I'm not going to do that because I'm sure that they all are the correct values. So now we just added some some kind of registration method over here, but how do we actually implement it? So in real life applications, you might have seen that whenever you're typing in something, it says it kind of restricts you from adding more than 12 characters or adding more than 16 or 20 characters, and it tells you to have a certain kind of uppercase text and a lowercase text. So those are integrated using the regex. So what is regex? So regex is a basic abbreviation for regular expression. So I'll write it down. Regex stands for, okay, well, let me write it down. Stands for regular expression. So what are regular expressions? So regular expressions are those expressions which use which use alphanumeric symbol in order to explain or elaborate, maybe not elaborate, in order to represent how the data should be accepted as. So what am I talking? So let's take an example that I want to have certain kind of data, okay? So the value that I'm getting is this right here, so 45. And now what do we see here? We have the lowercase character and one number, but I want more. I want to have a uppercase character and at least one lowercase character, at least one uppercase character, and I want a special character here. So now this, when I can set this limitations and this requirements in the regular expressions. And how do we write those regular expressions, you may ask? It's not easy for a human being to write regular expressions by themselves. If they understand, that is good. Humans can understand. Okay, now that is acceptable, but most of them, those who are actually trying to create a website really fast, they cannot engage in writing regular expressions. So how can we get regular expressions? So you might have already guessed by me opening a new tab. We're going to go and Google it. So it's like regex for validating username in JS. Okay, my spelling might be incorrect, but it's okay. I've already visited this website, and okay, it's not in JavaScript. In username validation in JavaScript. Instead of going into Stack, okay, we can go into Stack Overflow. Now in the Stack Overflow, I don't know what the user says. The following regex for the first name spec. Okay, what it says. Should contain at least A to Z or an character, and below should only contain alphanumeric characters. So, okay, this is the restriction that we already got here. So this is corrected by some kind of person in the Stack Overflow. So we're going to copy this. But instead of going for this, we have a perfect example that I've set up before starting this video. Let me go on to a new web browser, and I'll go for the JavaScript password validation. And yep, we can see that over here. Now, the regular expression that I'm going to go is 6 to 20 characters, and it should be at least one numeric digit, one uppercase, and one lowercase letter. So to do that, we have a regular expression right over here, you see? So this regular expression is going to help us do what we really wanted. It's going to satisfy our basic needs. So what am I talking? So first thing, I'm going to go for const username validation, or we can go for username required, or we can go for username rec. And this is going to have the regular expression just like the heck. Oh, whoa, bro, I need to just paste that. I don't need to do anything else. So now we have the regular expression. Now, how do we check if that the password, that username that we have provided is actually corresponding with this requirement? So to do that, we can go for if the username dot match. There's a function called match, and it's checking in the username requirement. So username requirement, and then I'll go for console.log. The username is valid, and then f, that is not the condition, console.log, username is invalid. And now if we go onto our website and look up, click on register, it says username is valid because we have a uppercase character and one lowercase character with special, we don't need a special character with a numeric digit. But if I simply remove one of this, and if I go with all small, all lowercase, it says username is still valid. Why is that? Username non-match, and it's saying, okay, wait. D, A to Z, capital A to Z, 6 to 20, and if that returns us that, we can go with that. But if you simply go for non-math, non-numeric digit. It says username is still valid, man. Okay, we can furthermore watch the documentation that we have. It's basically what I told you, but I don't know what's not working. Maybe we can figure this out ourselves. Username, and it's matching in the username and cast. Okay, let's find that ourselves. Wow, we're up. Skibbity dop. Okay. Okay, first thing first. Okay, it says input dot value dot match and then password. But we're doing the same thing, right? We're matching in this password. Right. What's happening? Username dot match username requirement. This is a regular expression, right? Go to hell, man. One numeric digit, one uppercase and one lowercase. Next match is to me. Object is used to match the set related and the input value is the complete web document. So what if we go for username? Go for form dot username dot value dot match. Okay, this is basically the same stuff that I'm doing, but it says username is invalid. Okay, wait. It didn't give me the thing when I was using username dot match, but it gave me when I was using form dot username dot value. Oh, well, wait. Username dot match. And go on and basically register. It says username is invalid. Now it's working. Maybe I didn't save the file, so we had some kind of problems. But I go with the username. This it's going to say that the username is invalid. But I go here now, and now I'll make this user. Yes, it should be freaking valid, you know. Okay, what? Still says it's invalid. Never mind. Okay, I'll actually fix this. Wait. Okay, sorry. I basically figured out that it was the problem with the irregular expression itself, so I found a solution to it. So I'm actually taking a regular expression over here, and which says that we have certain kind of username. It should be from character A to Z, and from A to Z, it should contain at least one of the capital letters, and it should contain it should contain up to 0 to 9, and then now it should have some kind of special characters. So the special characters are basically this. So it should contain at least one special character. Now, and it should be greater than 8 but less than 15. Now, if I actually don't meet some kind of requirement, now if I click on register, it says username is valid because I have certain kind. If I simply go for this, it's going to go for username is valid. And now if I go on to the form dot username dot value dot match, no, it's going to work. And it says username is invalid. So the reason it was not working was actually it was the problem with the irregular expression itself. And then the second is that we cannot simply use that match function inside of this username itself. So this username, first, it's being stored as some kind of, it's not being refreshed or it's not being changed for some reason, okay? So the value of this is not being changed for some kind of specific reason, but this is actually the value that I'm getting after I write something down or note something down. So that is how we use regular expressions. Now, these regular expressions can be used to check for the password and also for the username validation. Now, we don't want to know where there's an error with my username or my username pattern while I'm actually submitting. I want to know when I'm actually typing. So let's take an example that am typing in my username and I just didn't meet the certain kind of criteria, then in the console I should see some kind of error saying that username is still not valid, username is finally valid. So how to do that? So there's a event listener called a keep up. So a key up event is basically a type of event which is used to check whatever you are typing. So if I go for form dot add event listener and then listener, and then I'll go for the event of key up. Now this key up, what I told you, it is basically what are we typing. So we can say if no, we don't need to do that. Now we can check that over here. We can check the password and the username. So grab in the requirement from this, Control C, paste that, and that this should be associated with this kind of stuff. Now we know we've actually made the username requirement. So username is valid, username is valid, and username is still invalid because we're going to be continuing and we're going to be moving out simultaneously while we're working. Okay. Now we can do the same stuff for password as well. So if I go on and if I start typing in my username, it's see, it says invalid 6789 @ and it says username is valid. So the username you see right over here, now that is valid because we were still moving on. Okay, now if I type something, it says username is still invalid. But now if I go for some certain kind of changes and I say @Safi 6562 6368 or whatever the stuff, now it's matching in the requirement. It says username is valid. So we've learned about key up event and we've learned about submit in this now. So, and we've also learned about regular expressions and how we can use them to match the certain kind of criteria that you've set for your password requirement. Okay, so that is how cool it is working with JavaScript, and I hope you enjoyed this video. This one was maybe a bit too long, but you've just learned two of the things, and these two of the things are necessary while you're working with some event handling and all that stuff when you're handling some forms. And yep, that's it for today's video. I hope you've learned something new, and I hope you're working towards your JavaScript series. And yep, if you are interested in coding, you might subscribe my YouTube channel, and if you enjoyed the video and learned something new, then please hit that like button. Okay, hit that like button as hard as you possibly can, and I'll see you in the next video. If you have any kind of queries, you can join our Discord server. And then the thing is, we're making our website, and this website is going to be published within 1 or 2 weeks. Then you can actually have premium membership of our YouTube channel. And yep, that is it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care everyone, and goodbye.